Hi everyone, this is Tiana. I'm your host for today's webinar. First, I'd like to welcome and thank you for joining me in these sessions, which I will be taking you on to the practical or the demo of GovReports Digital Authentication applications and how you can maximize the usage and features for your business and clients. There is no doubt that digital world help us to succeed in more productive and efficient way than ever before. And as a tax practitioner, one of the ways to digitalize is the process you get your clients to approve and authorize the work or service that you provide to them to comply with the regulations. The conventional ways of printing documents and get your clients to sign them progressively phasing out as it costs money to print paper, and the younger generations tend to understand it better, I think. I understand some of your clients are a lot older and harder to adjust to this, but you can't explain the cost in terms, you can save them the cost in terms of printing, buying paper and printing inks and things like that. And also in the inconvenience for you to chase your clients on the physical signature as well. Then comes the cost of sorting out or storing and filing those documents. And when there is a need to get copies for auditing purpose, the hassle of trying to locate the right file you have stored them and send it off for the request for the person that requesting those informations. Digital signature and digital authentication can streamline the process of getting your clients to sign and approve reports for lodgement. But before I dive into this further, a little bit of housekeeping. Please raise your hands if you can hear me so that I know that this is working for everyone. Thanks, Patricia. Thanks, Judy. Okay, it seems like everyone can hear me now. Great. This session is recorded and will be posted on GovReports website after the webinar. So if you missed a little bit here and there, you can always revisit sessions at your convenience. During the session, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to send it through to me so that I can go through it after the sessions or during questions time. So okay, let's explore GovReports Digital Authentication. So what is it? Digital signature can also mean electronic signature through emails, but digital authentications refers to the process of obtaining the identities and approval electronically. So it's not just, it means it's online. So GovReports Digital Authentication was initially launched about 6 years ago and popularly used by agents to get digitally signed or approval for BAS, tax returns, and other compliance reports. The authentication process in this case is the identification of the recipient in terms of IP address, the email address, as per client's profile that you have in your GovReports account. Of course, you have various offers in terms of securities when the clients view those documents. The benefits, there are plenty, some of which are basically you can access to anywhere with internet or with your email, where you can get access to your email and view it online. You can store those documents digitally without having to, have an external backup system. Audit trails, of course, easy to manage along with your workflow in the sense that, it's part of it's integrated into the system, so it's part of your lodgement platform. Of course, all the signatures is marked with the time and date stamp, so it's basically when the client sign it, where they sign it, it's documented in the system, and it is accepted by the ATO, which is the great thing. Once your clients get used to it, of course, the cost savings to you and your customer is just, it's pretty easy to understand because your clients doesn't have to print them out. They get access to wherever they are, wherever they are. If they got their mobile phone on with their where they have access to their email or anywhere with internet where they have access to their email. Okay, users in GovReports, as I said, it's integrated throughout the system. So now, just before I mention that as well, it is in digital signature or digital authentications is part of your subscription. So you don't have to, you don't have to think, oh, this is an external to your accounts or your subscriptions. It is included in your subscription with GovReports. And as I mentioned, it is integrated throughout the system. Where you prepare the forms, you can basically, once you prepare the report to send to your clients, you can digital authentication or digital signature is part of the process before you do the lodgements. So whether it's an activity statement, a tax return, or an STP, even proposal and agreements, you can also, now it's incorporated into GovReports and digital authentication process. You can also send your own documents for digital signature and be able to store them in GovReports as well. And have here, it's it's unlimited. Unlimited, you can have unlimited signatures, unlimited documents that when you upload into the system to send it off. It has, of course, it's there as part of the compliance process and the compliance software. It is an audit trail for your workflow. And of course, multiple signing page, you can send it to multiple recipients if the client is has multiple partners. And of course, you can, there's private message capabilities, customize also templates, customize emails, templates that you can also set up in the system, which I will go through later, and of course archive options and a lot more. Reminders, document expiry, I'm sure some of you would have gone through it. So the purpose for today, so I will now go through some of the topics that the settings and the process that we go through, including customizing email settings, because as more, you can use, if you haven't set up, if you start using GovReports already and you haven't customized your email settings, some of the email sending out will be restricted. So I will go through some of these topics and then show you through. But first, let's go through the customized email settings. Log in. So this dashboard, which most of you would have, would have seen in GovReports, the dashboard when you sign in. So to do the customized email settings, go from your dashboard to settings, go to my account, and I would recommend that if you would do this when you first set up the account or when you first sign up with GovReports. If you haven't, it's not too late to get it done now. So when you go to settings in my account, you will be able to see the options on your left or in the middle here. In settings, if it's clicked, this is the test. If you haven't set your email setting previously, this would be pretty much a blank page, but because I have done so, but if you want and you need to change anything, or you need to, if this is a blank page, you just simply go to edit email settings and you'll be able to set up your to customize your emails settings on GovReports. The incoming email setting is basically where you want your anything from GovReports, where do you want to receive them? So this could mean, lodgement receipts or communications from GovReports. So it can, and this email can be different to that of the one that you register with us as a username. If in your practice you've got a couple of emails and you want to basically separate the what you're receiving and your client's lodgements or the weekly activity statements, the weekly report, summary reports, etc. You want to receive from a separate email, you can also do so. The outgoing email is basically which email do you want to nominate to send from. Now, similar to that, when you set up your email on your mobile phone, the requirements is that you put in the email, the display name, what you want your clients to see or identify you. It could be, ABC Bookkeeping Services or ABC Accounting Services, and then the password to your email. Now, obviously, the security, we will mask the password and save onto the system, configure that so that any email will be sent, it will be sent from your email. Also then if it's a Gmail, it's pretty straightforward because GovReports also use Gmail, so it's a straightforward there. But if you use other email service provider, you might have to put in this the SMTP server and SMTP port, so that as part of the configuration, so that we can the system can connect and set up the email. Of course, then if you've got email signature, which we do recommend that you have something there. If you haven't, just basically put in your contact details, and this will form part of the digital the signature, the email signature that your clients receive when they get an email from you. Once you've done that, submit, and you can then, if this is the first time that you set up with GovReports, just make sure that you test the outgoing email settings to make sure that it is all the password that you have put in, the information that you have entered are correct and it is working. If it's not working, just check the email password, the password and the settings again. If not, just give us a call, and our support team can assist you with trying to figure out where you are stuck. Once you've done that, then another settings that I would also recommend as well is the practice settings. No, so that's basically the customizing your email settings. What's the next topic that we have to do? So once you've done that, you can then go back to your normal workflow and what you need to do, and then we'll set up the then when we start to do the form, then we'll also the part of the digital signature or digital authentication is integrated throughout the applications, whether it is on for this case the internet is pretty bad and there is delay in terms of message delivery when you receive it. So can you see my screen, Sindhu? Can you see my screen? Cool. Okay, so once you select a client, assuming that this is now you're going to do an activity statement, select the form. Once you select the form, this is also okay, yeah, it is. All right, is it getting better now? Because it says it's restore. Okay, just bear with me. I'm going to switch over to another computer. Can you hear me? You can hear me. All right, I'm going to make myself a presenter here. Just hold on. Just hold on. Can you make myself a presenter, please? Okay, cool. All right, you can see my screen? Can you see my, cool. All right, this is better. Okay, apologies for the internet. It's uncontrollable. So I'm going to go through just quickly. For digital signature, you can, when you prepare the activity statements or any forms in the lodgement sections, you would have the options to send, validate, and save, validate, and send for signature. So in this case, that's one way to basically prepare the to send your prepared documents or reports for digital signature. The other option is if you have created the documents, the report, and validated it, then you can also send it off for digital signature as well. On my list of saved reports here, that which you can see in front of you, unfortunately, I don't have anything that has been validated. If it's not validated, if it's not a valid report, you can't send it off for digital signature. Having said that, another option around it, if you really need to send it off for digital signature without the valid status, then you can basically download the PDF and upload onto GovReports, onto the digital authentication. So this is a valid taxable payment annual report. You can see that from here, under the action tab, you would have a few options, one of which is to send for signature. But if it's a report that is not a valid report, that option for send for signature won't be there. Okay, and it's exactly the same process as you would have if you prepare the reports from scratch, and then when you get to the lodgement sections, you would have the options to save, validate, and send for signature, and it would take you to this screen, the My Documents or the Digital Authentications dashboard. When you got to here, whichever the report that you have prepared earlier, it's now will be uploaded here and would say it's 100%. From here, you can upload as many other documents as you wish. Maybe it could be working documents, your working documents, your maybe your invoice or your engagement letter or your whatever it is that you need to attach. You can attach as many documents as you want. Now the thing is, the only format that GovReports will accept is the PDF format. So like I said, you can upload as many documents, but it has to be PDF format, as we won't allow for the adjustments in the documents. Then you come to the recipient sections. Here, if you have your client's details in GovReports, their name, the email address, it will pre-fill here. So if it's not the correct email and you want to change it here, you can also change it here. But if you do change it here, it won't change on your GovReports main account. So if you want consistency and like using reuse it the subsequent times the same data, the correct email address, you need to change it from GovReports. So I'm going to change this because this is not proper email. The good thing is you can override it. You can just type in what you want. Okay, here you can have whether this person's going to be signing or will have only view access. So in the case where you have clients who small sole trader, for example, where it's maybe a plumber or electricians, where he's the business owner and he will need to sign it, but the wife does the like manage the finance and knows everything about the business, etc. You can add the wife in by clicking add recipient, and the same thing, just add her name, her details, her contact details, her email, and ensure that you have the signing authority here as the view only access. So because she might not need to sign the document, but if it is a business where it's she is a partner, you can also include the partner in here and get that person to sign as well. Then it comes to the security, because we won't need this. I'm going to remove that. Then it comes to the security sections. You have three options. You can have as part of the initially, the ATO was quite strict when we first released these applications. They require that we have two-factor authentication for all financial information that gets sent to the client as part of their security protocol. But then a lot of our clients came back with a lot of issues. A lot of their clients are older and were not able to, adjust to even simple security process. So we have introduced a few other options, including the, you can set your own, you can set the security code for the clients. So if you're using these options, think of, maybe it's their last 4 digits of the phone number. It could be, it could be their date of birth, or their son's date of birth, their daughter's date of birth, whatever that is memorial for them. So, and use that, have that saved somewhere so that you remember to use that. And so the clients can always, each time they receive a document from you for signing, they just know that's the, that's the code they need to enter in order to get access to the document you sent to them to sign. Or you can also, or for those clients that, really they could never understand it, they could never, really remember any password, you can have a no security. But again, look, we have the options there. It's up to you to use it. We don't enforce it, but yeah, like I said, if there is, the ATO get harsher on these issues, yeah, try to use some sort of security when you send information for your clients to sign off. Then we got, if you set the security code, I'm going to set the security code and I'll just put in simple. And once you set the security code there, it's there for you to read, so you know what it is. The message, this is the private message. I would recommend to use this only if you send to multiple recipients for this document, and you want them to get that message. Then you use the private message. Otherwise, the general message below will be just sufficient. If you do send private message, only that person will receive that private message, and no one else in the group or on your list of recipients will receive that private message. Then you come to the general message. Now we do have a few templates, default templates that you can use there, and of course it will bring it's if you want to use that's great. You can adjust, you can edit the contents, the subject, whichever that you want to use. But if you don't like these templates, that you can also then create your own messages. Now if you want to if you want to set up your own messages and save it for subsequent use, you need to go to settings, my messages, and you can create the message, save it for subsequent use. So it could be, so for example, this is the bass, December bass, okay? And the subject, whatever the subject you want it to be, so that it's consistently you know that this is December bass, please signed. So the subject that you want, it will be consistent. Then of course create the message. You can use the placeholder. There's only a few options at the moment. You can put in the client's name, so dear, and you can put in your client's name, right? And you can use then you can put in your contents. Okay, so once you if you've got your email signature will come at the bottom of this email. But otherwise, whatever you put, the contents you put there, you save it. That message will be saved under December bass message. I won't save this. Okay, I can save it. So there you go. You can see that the bass December message, I can, if I want to, that now is become my template for reuse. Now, for those that have multiple users on your account, multiple authorized users on your account, they will all be able to get access to these templates that you created. I'm now going to go back to the documents that I was using earlier. See if it's still there. Possibly. Yep, this is the one. Okay, so I will continue with that. I can go back. So on your My Documents, anything that you created, it will be in your documents. If, as you see earlier, there's a list of all the documents, the ones that have been sent out but has not been signed by the clients, will be having pending for signature. I'll go back to that shortly. This wasn't saved. Okay, so I'm going to put in my name there. Okay, for now, I'm going to use the default message, but if I want to use my saved messages, I can click on the save message and select the message that I want to use. So if it's a bass December bass, which I created earlier, then you can see that it's now changed. The subject is now changed, and of course it has the contents that I've just created in my template earlier. But if I want to go back to using the default message, straightforward, just click on the default message and select it, and it's basically come up. And if I'm happy with anything, with all the contents in here, I can just basically proceed with the next steps. Of course, you can, like I said, you can change the contents in this email template. It's entirely up to you, but you won't be able to save it for subsequent use. If you want to use these contents, just copy and paste onto your save messages and save it as a for your own templates. Then you've got the settings for reminders, and I do recommend that you use this because for all the compliance documents that we sent out, they all have a deadline and a deadline for a due date to lodge. So, and you do have other clients that you do look after as well. So the thing is, sometimes when you send off the documents for your clients to sign, and then the clients open up and they go, I'll come back to it later. A few days later, it's all gone out of their head and they don't remember. So it's probably best that you like I said, create a reminder. In this case, it's notification to the person that needs to sign, maybe one day after they first receive the documents. So if after one day they don't sign it, it repeats every day after that. Or it can repeat every 2 days, right? It's entirely up to depending how close you are to the due date. So if you've got 30 days in advance that you have prepared these documents, so you can be a little bit more generous and maybe remind them every 3 days or something like that. And then you've got the expiry dates. Like I said, if the due date is in 7 days, so document expire in 7 days, and notification that it will be expiring maybe 1 day before the due date, and you save it. Then what it will do is that it will send a reminder to your clients if they don't sign it the first after the first. If you send it yesterday and they haven't signed it by today, by the end of today, your clients will get a reminder. And if in 7 days they still haven't signed it, they will also be receiving an expiry document, expiry notifications as well on top of that. If they sign it during this time, of course, the reminder will automatically be switched off, and of course, the expiry notification will be switched off. You can click preview to see what it looks like when your clients receive it. just in case if you you need to change any, you want to change the contents or something like that, you can do so. Okay, so I'm going to close the preview and then click next. Now you come to the sections where the documents that you've attached earlier is now in front of you. Now this is only on one page, but if there are multiple pages, you'll be able to click to the next page, and depending on, and of course if there are multiple documents, you'll be able to see the list of all the documents that on your right hand side here. So you can see that it's only one document, but if there are multiple documents, you click on the next document and then get on. Again, if you've got multiple persons to sign the documents, of course you would have the a list of all your recipients here on your left hand side. So in this case, we only got one recipient to receive this document, and one page, and it's pretty straightforward. So all you have to do now is just basically click the mouse where you want the client to sign, and that's it. It will mark where your client needs to sign. If a document that you're sending out that requires your own signature on the document, all you have to do is just basically place my signature, and you can put in your signature onto the form. So it might be, sometimes it might be the your contract, your engagement letter with your clients, or your documents that you sent out that also require your own signature. You might want to also set up your own signature onto the platform, so that when you're sending off documents that require your own signature, you can have it there. For tax agents, especially with the tax returns, it needs the tax agents to sign off as well. You can sign off. You can place your signature directly on the form where your signature is required. Then all you have to do is basically click send for signature. Not doing. Okay, my internet is blunt. How can I squeeze this? Can you check why it's just gone blunt? Okay, once you click send for signature, your clients will receive the documents and the email that you saw as a preview, and maybe reduce the size of the screen. Okay, so it was overlapping. Okay, once you sent it, your clients, then the status, as you can see, the document that you just sent off is now pending signature, and the date that you send it off and the expiry date is noted on there. And of course, you can see other status, other documents that are in your account that has been set up or sent through. So depending on what you want to reorganize it, if you need to, basically your client said, look, I haven't received it, you can always go back and click on it, click on that and click remind, and it will send them another email exactly the same, just so that if they say they haven't got it. Another way that you can also check whether this has been sent to your client successfully is to go back to your GovReports account, go to my settings, my account, and you can check the email log to make sure that your client has actually received it. So this is one way that I normally, when my clients say they haven't got a document for me, and I go into the system, I check where it's got sent from, and who's supposed to be receiving it. You can see the email right there. On the top, you can see that that document that I've just sent, and I can actually get a quick look at what I sent out to my clients. So in the case, especially when you have selected the options to send security code to your client's email, you can also check to see whether that email has been sent to your clients. And if it tells you that it has been sent, then system to system, your clients must have it in their email in the inbox. So I'm now going to go back to the this option as well. Now, if you have and I know I've spoke to a few clients where they send these documents out to their clients to sign off, and then along the way the client just decided they're going to print it out and sign it off directly on the piece of paper as they normally do. Then you need to come back here and select to void the documents, so that you can lodge, and that the system won't send the reminder to your clients again. Okay, because it can get annoying, they will, you know, it can be annoying if they keep receiving and they know that they already signed it off and give it to you physically. The other option, you can delete it, so they will basically go off the system. And then just, if you do that, you just need to make sure that on your client's account, you will go to the file note, make a file note that the clients physically sign it and where you store it, so that you, if there is an audit, you know where it was signed and where to get that copy. Just going to go to very quickly to so where you can find the file note. So you go to My Clients, click on the client should go to their profile and go to file note and make a quick note. The client sign it off on paper. The December BAS you just prepared, and that it is, you know, it's the client sign it off and send it to you on email, and it's saved somewhere. So make a quick note, blah blah blah, and once you click enter, it's got the information that you have entered and the date and the time. So it becomes your auditing trails. Now going back to the digital signature where your clients will receive it, when they receive it, now I don't know my email. Obviously I switched computer, so I would need to, I'm now going to be logging in as a client. I mean, going to my email as a client. Oops, what do I do? Okay, I don't know my password. Okay, I'm sorry, like many of you, I don't know my password to my email. I usually quite happy to save it on the computer. But when your client receive it, all they have to do is click review and signed. And once they click that, it's get them to the login page where they have to enter the password that you just created. You have, assumingly that you have told them that the password is whatever that you have set in, or send them a text message to let them know that you know, you have set the password and this is the password for them to log in to see the document and sign it off. So once they got it in, if it is the first time that they use GovReports, then they would have to create, the first time they log in, they would have to create their signature. So what it means that then is that you know, they can upload, they can draw, they can get the smartphone, sign on a piece of paper, get the smartphone, take a snapshot of their signature, upload it onto the system, onto their, you know, their computer or whatever, and then upload onto GovReports and you know, basically save that as their signature for subsequent use. Otherwise, they can also type it in, you know, type in the signature and save that as their signature for subsequent use. Remember that the system, digital authentication, is about identifying them, and the fact that all email service provider these days require some sort of security when you log into, when you have an account with them and when you log into your account. So there is a lot, you know, there is double or level of securities in that sense. And we do capture the IP address or the email address that you've nominated. That's the only way that you can log in, the only way that you can get access to the documents. If this document is forwarded by your clients to another person, when they receive your email to sign off, they forward to someone else to, you know, to view the documents. That person, the person that received, have been forwarded the email to, won't be able to sign the, won't be able to even log in, even if they have the password, because they actually clicking in to sign in from a different email other than the one that you have initially set up for. Okay, once they create their signature, all they have to do is simply click the mouse where they want to sign the documents, and that's it, really. Click finish. Any comments they need to make, if they're not happy, they can also decline to sign the documents as well. And if they do decline, they would have, you know, the options to send you the message that they're not happy with the figures that you have created or whatever they need for you to make the adjustments, etc. But all of these become your auditing trails. Now, I have actually logged in from another computer to sign off, to sign that document. So, to sign out that document for that I've just sent earlier. I'm just going to refresh the page now. Now you can see that document that I've just sent earlier is now signed, right? And the expiry date is gone, and because it's now switched off, and that I can go straight into it. And if I need to get a copy of it, if you want to view the document, I can view it. If I can also then get to actually see it as a separate PDF. Now, we have a few options here. As a separate PDF or a combined PDF. Now, the separate PDF, if you have multiple documents that you were sending off to your clients to sign, you can have separate documents being signed by the clients, or you can have it as a combined PDF. For a lot of agents that I've known, this is a really useful features to have. And of course, you can you get a certificate of where it was sent, when it was sent, and when it was signed as well. Okay, and then you can also have the options to, if your clients say, if someone wants to get a copy of it, you can also email this copy to whoever is requesting for this document. But this is in digital authentications. So now, if I'm going back to my documents, go into GovReports, and I'm going to go back to that document to the dashboard. The document that I've just sent off for signature earlier, it's now in my save report as a signed document, but I also can go to the signed report, which this is the document that I've just signed, right? I can open it, or I can actually go straight into it. And do the lodgement, actually on page 2. I can select, it takes you to this pretty much the same report, but it's notifying you that all the signed report that the report that has been signed is now ready for you to do the lodgement. So this is the one, I think this is the one that we've just created earlier. So I can tick that and I can lodge that one. It's now ready for lodgement because it's valid and it's signed. But if to have a better view of it, you can simply go to your save reports and see the whole list of your save reports, and you can see which one has been signed as well. So that was on the second page, and you can see there, this is the taxable payment annual report. I think I sent it off earlier. I can't find it. Okay, so this is the one. It's valid and it should be signed. That one? Yeah. So I can tick the valid and the signed one and be able to lodge that now. Okay. Another way that you can also use digital signature in the system in GovReports is the part of the recently released the proposal or the the engagement letter. You can also use that. So if you go into your clients, or say we will select a client, go to my clients, and you select this client to go to their profile. And you can then go to the action tab to go to the engagement letter. Now, once you get to here, you create the documents. You select the services that you provide for these clients. Go to once you save it, you then can create the templates. Again, the placeholder where you can change the contents of the template and then send it off for signature. The same process when your clients, if you're happy with all the information here, you can then send for e-signature. And the same process that you would have to go through, which we saw earlier, is that it will take you to the digital authentications dashboard, and then you'll be able to send it off and set up exactly the same. All right. But having said that, it's a little bit more automated with letter of engagement and proposal. Is that it has the deadline, the terms. So the start date and the end date, and also, you can set up the expiry date. So if you set up a proposal for your clients for 30 days, if they come back to you within the 30 days, then all the terms that you have offered would stand. It's, it basically forwards into exactly the same process that we saw earlier as well. Now, I think I'm not too sure. Have I gone too fast? Have I lost anyone? Do we have questions? Okay, I'm going to stop for a little while and then go through some of the questions, and then I'll go to some of the other topics as well. All right, I've got a few questions. Okay, from Kim, on the bottom of the Save Reports page, you have the option for X items per page. Is there any way you can set the permanent say 50 with always be default at 10? Unfortunately, Kim, it will always be the default at 10 because, can you hear me?
Sorry, Tiana. I just want to add a point over here for items per page. So When you set an items web page on a same computer with the same browser, it is still as it is for until you clear the cookies. Or if you're changing this computer, then you need to set it again. Or if you're using the same browser and setting up the items web page to 50, then on your next login, it will be remains as it is.
Well, there you go. It's even better than I thought. Okay. Hope that's clear. Questions from Stephanie. How do GovReports messages signing system complies with tax petitionable to be compliant authority to lodge electronically? It is when we set up or when we released the digital signature authentication 6 years ago, we did inquire with ATO. We did work with ATO. It is a complying process. Like I said, it's because we capture of course, like I said, the process that we've gone through with it, the process in terms that we obtain the authentications from the clients in terms of the email, identifying email, and only the email that you nominate can be accessed, and also the IP address capture. So that for the ATO is a compliant process.
In addition to the Tiana, so we are using the certificate, that is the private key certificate to signing the document, which is highly recommended by any type of digital authentication. So when the document has been signed, and if there is any if there is any modifications going on the document, easily you can identify on the PDF viewer. It shows that the document has been modified, which is we are using the private key for the digital signature.
Okay. The next questions I have, if possible, may I have the link to watch this? Oh, definitely. It's Roger. It is on our website, and if you go to govreports.com.au/webinar, you'll be able to see the list of all the webinars and the past webinar. Upcoming webinars is on the first page, but if you click on the next link, next tab, you see the list of all the past webinars and with the link to the recording. Have a questions from Kim. Will the expiry notification be sent every day? Is sent up this way? Not too sure what you mean by that. Oh, okay. All right. Cool. So we have answered most of the questions. I think that another topic that I want to go through with you as well is that okay, when there are a few status on the digital authentications, as you can see, if it's that you set the expiry date and it's the client has not signed it, and if it's basically sitting there, it will expire, and you will have that as an auditing records. Then you also have the need to sign. The need to sign, this is in case if you are sending, we have a few cases where the agent set up the email, the client's email as their own email in GovReports, and then they're not realizing when they send it off for digital signature, it is sending it to them. And then they kind of ignore it, not looking at it, and it's actually when you put your own email, and if the system identifies that the email that you are sending off for digital signature is the same as the one that you register with us, then obviously the system will think that it is you that needs to sign the documents, and of course the status will needs to sign. Like I said, if it's a document that you need to sign, then just basically when you set it up, you can place your own signature, set your signature on the system, and then basically place your own signature where on the documents that you need to sign yourself as well when you send it off to your clients for signing off. Then there is also the options for you to send your own documents. So this is in the digital authentications applications, and so when you need to send off your own documents to your clients to sign, just go to New and send a document, and you will be in the same process where you were with the activity with the taxable payment annual report earlier. Then you only need to have to upload the file, add the documents, upload the file that you need to send off. And like I said, it could be anything, but it has to be the documents. Just remember, it has to be a PDF document. That's the only format that we accept, right? Once you add the documents, of course, you add the recipient who's to receive these documents, the email address, and of course, whether they the one that need to sign or this is a view-only access, and of course, the security code, etc. And if you need more people to sign to receive these documents. And of course, the message that you need to, you can create the message. This is basically your cover email, your cover letter of the documents. You can create anything, you can put in anything, because it's your own document. We don't know what it is. So you can select your own message, your own custom message that you created in the system, and select that. And or you basically just write, the cover email to that requirement, and then send it off as normal. Okay. Anything else that I haven't covered? That's basically to send off your own documents. And of course, with your own documents, you can also set up the reminder and expiry if it is a proposal or a documents, an offer letter that you want to set up a specific to with a deadline for them to sign. Okay. At any time, if you need to come back to your clients and say, like I said, your clients, saying they've been busy, they've got some emails, but they can't remember they've received it, you can always go back to it and say, for example, this one, it has been sent a little while back and the client has not signed it. You can just click on it and click remind, or you can just simply tick to select it, and you would have the options to remind or void the documents. If you're avoiding it, or you of course you would, you want to notify your clients this document is no longer valid. For example, if you may have made the changes in your in the report that you've sent it off to them initially, and you want to let them know that there has been some changes. You can put in the reason there has been some changes, and we'll send them a new one, right? And you void it, the clients will be able to, your clients will get a void notifications from you, and saying that the document is no longer valid or no longer accessible because you have voided, and that the reasons for you voiding it is that it has been changed, there has been changes, and that whatever that the reasons that you need to, or what if you're going to send them a new one, etc. Okay. If you have already sent, if you've sent a document to your clients to sign, but you forgot to set the reminder or the expiry date, you can also go in and make the adjustments. But having said that, there are limits. You can't change very much on it, except for, so for example, if I need to, this one pending for signature, there's not much activities that you can do onto it. You cannot change. Once you've sent it off, you can't go back in and make the changes. So just make sure you can. If you, like I said, if you need to make the changes, you just basically delete it, avoid it, and then resend it. Go to your save reports and send it off to your clients again. So for those valid reports, once you void it, the status on your save report will be valid, and there's no pending for signature. And then you can go to the action tab, which in this case, you'll say once you void it, the status will be just valid and not pending for signature. Okay, the ones that's still waiting for your client's signature, if you have sent it out and you haven't voided, it will be pending for signature. So I think I have covered most of the topics about GovReports Digital Authentications. As I've mentioned, there are email templates, email cover templates in the system. We are continuously adding them on as we see the need for it. Depending on, for tax agents, you would have more templates, I think, for tax returns and other things as well. But for BAS agents, you would have, the normal forms that you will send. So, for example, the activity statements, the STP, the TPAR, etc. You would have all those templates ready for you to use. But like I said, if you need to create your own, just customize it, copy and paste from our templates if you want to, but otherwise create your own and then save it off for subsequent use. I think I have covered most of it. Is there any other questions? Sorry? Okay, I think Sandeep has been a great assistant because he answered most of your questions. And I have gone over time as well. If there are any more questions, or you have more questions after the webinar, don't hesitate to reach out to us. And if you want to know more about the features or service and the workflow in GovReports, let us know. Pretty much that's it, really. Thank you, guys, and thank you for keeping up with me, because look, like anything, when it's online, we can't control some of the things that we want to do on the online. Thank you. That's all, folks. Bye for now.